And the government is to invest nearly £250 million in new battery technology, which it hopes will spark an energy revolution in people's homes and cars. More now on those government plans for what they're calling an energy revolution. Let's take a look at what's been announced. Ministers are pledging a £246 million investment in battery technology over the next 4 years. As well as extra money, the government wants to make it easier for us to use large batteries in our home to store power that we've generated ourselves through wind turbines or also solar panels. The hope is that this will make it easier for us to either use this power in our own home or sell it back to the national grid. The government says this could help people save £40 billion off their energy bills in the coming decade. You must have a big energy bill. Let's discuss that in more detail, shall we, what it actually means in reality. Joining us from central London is Tom Burke, former Foreign Office advisor on climate change and chair of the Third Generation Environmentalism. And from Newcastle, Ian Fells, Professor of Energy Conversion at Newcastle University. Hello to you both. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sky News this afternoon. Let's go to you, Tom Burke, first of all, should we? What do you think?
I think this is about the smartest thing the government's done on energy policy in some time. It really does set Britain on the right trajectory for getting the low-carbon, affordable, secure electricity supply that's right for the 21st century. It's very good for consumers. It opens up the prospect that you'll not only get a bill through your front door, but you'll also get a cheque. It's very good for the climate because it makes it both quicker and cheaper to get to meet our climate targets. And it's also good for the economy because it means we'll be making much more efficient use of our generating capacity.
Why do you think it's unrealistic, Ian Fells?
Well, I mean, Tom's very optimistic here about all this. And you have to look at the situation that I'm in favour of it. You know, there's a lot to be said for it, and more research on batteries may achieve something. Though you must remember, there's 100 years' worth of pretty intense work on battery development has taken place with lead-acid batteries. Anyway, to go to the battery situation, take me. I could put solar panels onto the roof, and I could buy one of these batteries, except that I can't put the solar panels on the roof because this is a conservation area, and a lot of other people can't put them on. And if I was pleading poverty, I would say, well, I can't afford to put one on the roof anyway. And one of these batteries is going to, if you buy one of Elon Musk's batteries, that's £8,000 for a 14 kilowatt hour battery, which will perhaps run your house for about a day. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's very unrealistic to suggest that it's a game-changing situation.
Yeah, so what's going to happen then, would you suggest, Tom, when people live in conservation areas or just can't afford to buy these batteries?
Well, what's going to happen, two things. One, the costs of batteries are going down extraordinarily rapidly. They've gone down far faster than anybody thought they would go down. And secondly, you're going to find a lot of innovative financial measures to make sure that these options are available to ordinary consumers, provided you've got the right regulatory structure. And that's exactly what the government set out today it's going to do, so that it will be fair pricing when you sell your electricity back to the grid, not just when you pay for it to come into your house. So you've got to create a much more dynamic, flexible and efficient energy system, and that will both drive down bills, but also offer to consumers the opportunity to earn some money for themselves.
Yeah,
now,
but
will there be some?
Yeah, but what about areas where you can't have these things on your roof?
Well, there will be some places where you can't do that. Not only will there be some houses in conservation areas, there'll also be issues where you're talking about high-rise flats, for instance, where people are multi-occupying. But the vast majority of people in this country will see opportunities opening up for them. And in those other areas, what you'll see is a tremendous development of community schemes that don't necessarily involve you in putting things on your roof, or in the case of high-rise building, roofs you don't have.
So, Ian, you can live in the dark. We don't care about you.
Yes, I can see that. Must realise, you know, that all these things are heavily subsidised. In fact, nobody would do it unless it was subsidised. You wouldn't put up wind farms, you wouldn't have solar panels, any of those things. I know the subsidy has been reduced a bit with solar panels. So this is something which appeals to the affluent middle class. Not to most people, I'm sorry to say. And so that's why I think it's unrealistic. Do it if you like. And some of my friends, of course, have already done this. But the costs go on the bill. Unfortunately, the costs go on the bill of those people that can't afford to do this as well. So this is the poor subsidising the middle class.
Oh, goodness me, Tom. What do you make of that?
Well, if you were really concerned about that, you definitely not want to go ahead with Hinkley Point, which is basically we bought all the electricity for already at twice its current price on a take-or-pay contract.
I don't want to go ahead with Hinkley. I don't want to go ahead with Hinkley Point either, which I think is disastrous. But what would be a good idea is if we moved into the 21st. Shush a minute, Tom. What we could do is move ahead with the next generation of small modular reactor nuclear power stations, and what they do is they produce clean electricity 24/7, not like wind power and solar and all the rest of it. Why we don't now proceed down that route, I don't know, partly because we've been very silly as far as Hinkley C is concerned.
Tom?
Okay, nobody could buy a small modular reactor because nobody's got any to sell yet. Meanwhile, the cost of offshore wind is going down, where it's being bid into markets in Germany and Holland without subsidy at all. It's now in sight for doing that in this country. The idea that you need subsidies for renewables in this country is partly because we've been so bad at actually accelerating the demand for those renewables, getting them into our marketplace where the scale drives the costs right down.
Go on, Ian. It's your turn.
But we've got offshore. We've got offshore wind all over the place, and that is very heavily subsidised at almost twice the rate that they're going to subsidise Hinkley. How do I explain that?
Okay, we must leave it there, guys. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Thank you. Going to have to cut that short because we just want to take you